Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, or whatever time it may be where you are currently at. It is time for VDRL Season 8, and it's time for the Qatar Grand Prix. Then, going into this Grand Prix, then just after the Dutch Grand Prix, where Toto won, the gap at the top of the championship is getting ever so close. 12 points separate the top three, and who's those top three? Well, of course, it's Kevin, Ruben, and Toro. Then joining me in the commentary box, is Will. He's currently running late, but down in the pit lane once again. Nedzo, how is it there? A bit darker this time than last time out because it is a night race. How's it looking?
Well, it is looking interesting. We've got some fresh faces or some new names amongst the field, so we want to just see how those guys will get on, along with the regulars that we have in amongst the pack.
Will then 12 points separate the top three, and this was pretty much our prediction for the entire season. Then, and so far we're doing pretty well. Then those guys, they've been kind of swapping at the front. Whose turn do you think it is now to win?
Well, I don't know. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the other round here in Qatar. Yeah, I think it's gonna be tense now. Obviously, we're knuckling down towards the end of the season. Obviously, already past halfway. I don't know. I'm expecting obviously the front three to possibly be the same, but I mean, I've said it all season. I want a shocker up at the front, and I just think Kevin with his pole positions, and I mean, throwback to where we were last in the Dutch Grand Prix. He was it second. He finished. Kevin, yeah.
Dutch Grand Prix, yes, he finished second.
Yeah, so second, and I know he's hungry for this championship, and he's definitely got the pace for it. So I think we can see a good run from here today. But remember, Toro, all over the back of his teammate, eager to get that championship as well. So I think those two are going to really have a great fight today.
Yeah, in recent form, Toro has been the best in the last 4 races. He's won twice. If you compare that to his two championship rivals, they've only won once. So far, it's only been Baku, which has let Toro down, where he only scored a measly 2 points compared to 19 and 26 for Kevin and Ruben, respectively. But we're just moments away from Qatar, and Qatar, it really is a tire shredder, Nedzo, isn't it? All of these high speeds turn, especially that front left. Are we expecting still the classic medium to hard around here?
I'm guessing so. I mean, you could potentially make a two-stop work, but you'd also have to factor in track position, and it's also a notoriously difficult circuit to overtake on. But the one thing I will say about qualifying around Qatar is it's usually extremely close. I remember last season, there was, I think it was Daniel Llorente and Rajic were on the front row, and they were separated by 0.007 seconds. So it's going to be a very interesting, because most of the corners are either flat out or a tiny little break. So you can see why it's so close. Like, there's only one, maybe two, maybe three heavy braking events, and even then, like the last corner, I wouldn't really class that as fully heavy. So I can see why most of the corners are flat out or a tiny little lift.
100%, and you just mentioned that one overtaking spot, and that pretty much is after the Seoul DRS straight, down the main straight, that is, then, as well as the two Red Bulls are making their way out of the pit lane. And we're going to talk about both of the Red Bulls. Of course, we know Kevin, he's up there in the championship fight. Timo, though, if I'm not mistaken, he's picked up 2 points. Yes, he has. He's picked up 2 points throughout this entire season. And in the Constructors, Red Bull currently sit P2, a whopping 83 points behind Alpine. Well, Timo needs to step up his game if he wants to help his brother win the Constructors. Of course, he can still help him win the Drivers if he decides to go long in the opening stint. But I think he's expecting more of himself as well.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously, going back to the Dutch Grand Prix, Timo there had a great race, actually, getting involved with I think obviously getting the 2 points up there. But you could see he had proper pace. And he was really eager. But he had the Red Bull curse, and he spun around sadly and dropped himself down further back in the order. So he's got the pace, but he really needs to, I think, play a team game, and that's what we saw in Canada. Quite a bit with Timo, and after Kevin had sadly put himself into the barrier, luckily not DNFing himself. But yeah, I mean, Timo and also Kevin obviously both the brothers work so well together, and you know, this track is a high-speed track, and both of them really want the slipstream. So it's going to be focusing. I think Timo's going to focus on Kevin quite a lot in this session, and I'm sure we can expect to see a lot of drafting.
Yeah, just looking at the races we've had so far, we've had Baku, Portimao, Australia, Canada, and Zandvoort. This track, I would say, mostly compares to Australia, as Kevin's already invalidated, which is something we are going to see, of course. That's where the track time is. The curbs, they're not that big around here. They're very small. You can ride most of them quite a bit, and that's where the lap time is. You want to run wide, but just running. Actually, I think he cut on the inside of a turn, which is also very easy to do. But yeah, I was saying this was very similar, or is very similar to Australia and Melbourne, with its high-speed nature and the flowing circuits. And Toto won in Australia last time out, or this season, in fact, when we were there. So it'll be interesting to see what the two Alpines can come up with, as well as Kevin. Then, as we are, just starting qualifying now. What are your predictions then for qualifying? Will Kevin grab his second pole position in a row and cement that? You need to remember, pole position is worth 3 points, and I want to say he's already had at least 4. So that's 12 points worth. So without those 12 points now, he would be. He'll be third in the drivers instead of first.
Yeah, I think really my predictions today. I'm expecting an Alpine to take it on pole position today. Looking at Kevin, he's looking strong, but you know, looking at the Haas already done. Oh, sorry, that's Timo, isn't it? Kevin still. I don't know if this track. Obviously, I haven't seen him perform around here before, so I don't know what it's looking like. But the Red Bull of obviously Timo has not enjoyed it so far. Already invalidating his lap, but others are. But I'm expecting a hungry Toro to get a pole position today, and then Kevin second with Rajic third. And then I'm hoping for the race we're going to have a few fights up at the front, but you know, as I said, that Toro's just gone into, went a bit wide with all 4 tyres off the track, and that's the reason. Look at him chucking the corner in, and he's really not liking that, is he?
Yep, and Qatar is a very special track for me, because I actually made my commentary debut for VDRL at Qatar back in season 3. It was October of 2023 then, and back then we had Kevin, Jiggs, and Jamie Ray fighting for the championship, and Rajic and Toto, well, let me tell you, those guys were like just scraping the top 10 position. So the improvement of everyone, in fact, I mean, Will, you've been here a while, Nedso as well. But for me, I remember Ramos when he was like one of the guys who was like consistently out of the points. And now look at him, he's currently P5 with a bit of time to improve. So yeah, the improvement that these guys have put up is very impressive, I must say.
Yeah, it is incredible with these drivers. I mean, give them time and they'll perform like mad. And as we've seen with the brothers, and also Toro's been with us for a while, so is Rajic and Remus as well. But you know, we have new people joining, and they bring some shocks, don't they, to us and all of the viewers, which is great for us commentary and great also for the drivers. You know.
And they've delivered this season so far, must be said. Toto invalidates again.
So he's not liking that corner. I believe that was the same corner as well, if I'm mistaken.
No, I think last time it was one corner before he did it in the first time. So that like triple right-hander. That sector 3 in general is just miserable. But what everyone should do is just get a lap on the board. Just be a bit careful on track limit. Sure, you might lose 3/10, but at least you have a lap on the board. Because right now, Tias is currently leading by 4/10 ahead of Nilu, and Ruben, he is 6/10 behind them. So Ruben's second in the championship, and he's currently quite a bit off the pole. And look at that, not even Kevin can beat Tias. So have we found a contender for the race win, or for race wins in general? If he is a full-time driver, Tias, I will have to check the lineup. Because if we have, then I think it's a bit too late for the championship. He needs to close in by 100 points, which if he does that, he is arguably the GOAT of VDRL. I'm just going to quickly check the lineup to make sure I've not screwed up. And he's in that. I think he's a reserve.
And that's impressive for us as well. I mean,
it is very impressive, yeah.
As I said, Kevin, this might not be his track. But the one thing I do want to talk about today, Ned, is the strategies, really. This track and this place, this country is hot. We know that for a fact. But we know many people like the slicks, but really, are the softs the right higher or the mediums or the hards? I mean, what is it for race start?
I mean, the track characteristics, you have to look at those, and it's high-speed corners, and it's going to put a lot of surface temperature onto the tyres because you're constantly in the corner, you're constantly putting pressure on the compound. So I'd suggest soft tyres will not be the ones unless they are doing some sort of two-stop, which I doubt. I think hard-medium is definitely the way to go, or medium-hard. I don't understand Jello's comments from earlier about it being closest to Australia, this circuit. Definitely closer to the Netherlands because of its constant cornering nature and twisty nature. Even if the corners are faster than what they are at the Netherlands, but I'd still say that it's better. It's also about track limits, strategy of will these drivers decide to not push through certain corners. That was a prevalent thing at Zandvoort where drivers were purposely backing off through the fast right-handers in the middle sector so not to burn through the tyres. That could also easily happen here, especially because track limits are also a risk. So it's just a case of it's just a case of management really. Qualifying itself will be a case of management. How do you manage the track limits? How do you manage your own personal psyche? Because you could try and cut it another inch or two, but then you might have a chance of getting invalidated. But that inch could be worth half a tenth, maybe even a tenth.
Yeah, that's definitely the downside, and we can expect to probably see a lot of penalties. Whether obviously showing from qualifying all these drivers struggling with invalidating their lap times, but you know it is definitely going to be interesting with Tiaz there in the Haas up at the front on board with them now. You can see he's gliding through those corners. I mean, let's talk about the last round, Yellow, from the Mercedes and the Williams. The Mercedes, they
race to forget.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, the 007 and I think it was Woody in the other Mercedes. Race to forget. Both of them struggling, whether it was dry or wet. As Tiaz, it was actually purple in the first second, now invalidate. So I think, Will, based on what we've seen so far with Kevin, we know Kevin is notorious for over pushing, and I actually did a league race against Kevin on Wednesday. And he was sliding about like there's no tomorrow. Tokyo drift into every corner, burning out his tires. It might have been raining, that might have been part of it. Toto, we know, likes to push as well, going over the white line. So I think this round will be between Ruben and Tiaz. Ruben, we know. I think out of the top three in the driver standings, Ruben is the slowest, but he's the most consistent. In qualifying, sure, he might be a 10th off. But in the race, over 29 laps, like we'll have today, he's going to be a 10th quicker.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I didn't actually notice that. I thought Rajic was in the race today, but he's not. So obviously the reserve Ruben hops in for the seat. And that's going to put a bit of pressure on the constructors as well, with Red Bull just following behind. I obviously believe there's quite a big gap as Timo there dives into the pit lane. I think there's a big gap already. So they're not at risk at the moment, but if we can see Timo and Kevin performing amazingly, which I can definitely see, up both in the points, high in the points, then we can expect to see a bit of a fight. Look at that. That was Nilu, one of our popular drivers here, losing the rear end, but not invalidating his lap. And he is. He hasn't invalidated it, but he's just backed off. It wasn't good enough. And yeah, also I was going to talk about Nico-san. He had a bit of a shocker in Netherlands. He dropped back. If you remember him in Canada, he was absolutely dominating the pack, and in Azerbaijan. But we go to Canada and sorry, not Canada, Netherlands. He just didn't have the race he wanted, did he? He managed to get in the points, P8, I believe he finished. But really, I just didn't.
He's meant to be there P4, P5 with Nilu.
Yeah, and that was the fight, wasn't it? The big fight would be really from. Obviously, if Kevin was first, it'd be around that. It'd be those five basically. But they were always the ones to watch. Nilu and Kevin were the ones to watch and just make the move when he thinks it's the right time or after an incident's happened. And look at that, Kevin, purple sector 1, so he's on for an absolute flyer. Let's keep an eye if he invalidates his lap at all. Hopefully not. He's in sector 2 now. Got to take it easy through these corners because really, you can see everyone's invalidating them. You really can't run over them either, as it's quite strict with all the track limits. He's really fighting that car on the rear. It's obviously he has got the grip, but he's only coming up to the last couple of corners. Purple sector 2. He's up on his lap. This is a provisional pole. Is this going to be enough to beat Tiaz? Remember, Tiaz put a purple sector 1. It was interesting. And
he
blocked him. And he's taken out.
Is out of the race or out of the qualifying session. The Mercedes of Campbell not getting off the racing line. He's got 5 place grid penalty. That's probably the fairest penalty I've seen that the F1 game has done. You've got to wonder, what has the Mercedes been drinking or smoking? You see a fast Red Bull behind you, and you just stick on the apex.
You could see the car was coming, but he really didn't bother to get out of the way, and that's going to be, well, that's going to be brought straight back to the steward, and they're not going to be happy at all. The Mercedes weekend already dropping down slowly and slowly. They're being the least favourite on the grid as well so far. Let's see if they can do anything in the race. But Kevin, so far, P2, and it's really going to be interesting if he can just keep it. But if all these other drivers improve, it's going to be interesting. Remus on board with now. He's chucking the car in and out, and he's really fighting with it on the exit. He's up. Literally with 300s a second. Look at that, fighting the rear there. Wow. He's not liking it at all, but he's still doing it. Remus coming up, and this is coming up actually to the area where Kevin did have his crash. And so far, he has in the Haas is on professional pole position, and we don't get to say that much, do we?
Absolutely not. Usually the Hasses are down in P12, P13, P14, and oh wow, well. Usually at this time, 4 minutes left of qualifying, I would ask Nedzo what's the weather gonna be in the race. But as Ramos retires, but obviously no rain in the desert. Nedzo, are we expecting sandstorms or something like that tonight?
I'm guessing not. Obviously, there will be a minutely small chance of rain. But in this region of the world, people often think it is just desert and you have no rain. But for example, in Formula 2 testing last year at Bahrain, it was soaking with rain. It was really weird.
When it rains, it pours.
Yes. They get their yearly rainfall, whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, Nilu's about to start his lap, and I just want to say, with Kevin out of the session, total, look at that, he's only, 8 thousandths behind him, if my math is not wrong. So you could argue that Total, Nilu, and probably Ruben could all get past him, which, Kevin, he gets his points, right? Like I said before, that championship lead is because of qualifying. And so he's going to have to put up one heck of a race around a racetrack where you can't really overtake, as Nilu invalidates there, which is something we're going to see a lot. I'll tell you what, if you just keep it within the white lines, you've got like a guaranteed points playing position. Especially if there's a late safety car. Ramos invalidates. Bradley invalidates. Eden Jones, so one of the new kids on the block then, going into Turn 1. And Turn 1 is a very interesting place, because we saw in the RLF1 there last year, you want to be on the outside, right? Well, because you just can carry so much more momentum around than on the inside. So maybe we'll see more of that today as well then. Just under 3 minutes left of qualifying then, and I just want to take this time to quickly and swiftly look at the constructor standings then, as of course Alpine lead the way, 83 points, no questions asked. But between Sauber and Williams, it's 17 points. Or sorry, they were both on 17 points. McLaren and Aston Martin, there's 9 points between them. So in the midfield, there are some little constructors battles, as now Eden Jones, look at the slipstream he's getting from the Ferrari, but the Ferrari, okay, I was about to say he's not getting out the way, but has gone out the way then. So Eden Jones, nice little slipstream on the run to the triple right-hander. How did he, now he's invalidated then. And well, these drivers just need to keep it within the white lines, Will.
Yeah, I did see him go wide in. I was watching his lap, and it didn't really invalidate it at that point, so he was kind of happy with that. With the Ferrari in the way, looking at diving into the pit lanes, he was not happy with that one at all. As I'm mistaken earlier, apologies, Ruben, not realising it's Rajik, although it was a new driver. Yeah, so obviously the constructors with the Alpine and the Red Bull, I think are definitely interesting. What was the gap again for those two?
Between Red Bull and Alpine is 83 points.
83, so that's still quite a few race wins and quite a few points you need to catch up on that one.
Yeah, and Timo doing very well in P5 right now.
Yeah, that's the interesting bit, and that's what we wanted to see. But with Kevin being taken out by the Mercedes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not gone well, and he was actually on from provisional pole position as Nilu goes into the runoffs to let the cars by.
That's how you do it, Mercedes.
That is literally how you do it. Take note. But he has invalidated his lap, so he is going again, and he's imagine this is his last lap anyway, and he's invalidated it. No, he still kept the invalidated. Here he goes now. So obviously, off track, for some reason, the quickest line, weirdly.
Yeah, there's less bumps there.
Yeah, weirdly.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah, somehow. What was I talking? Oh yeah, we were talking about the new lines that were forming. We saw that in Netherlands. Remember watching Toro forming his own lines, and really they worked, didn't they? They really pulled a gap to Kevin. But that was in the wet. In the dry, he did the normal line. So I don't know if we can expect to see other lines. The fighting, I think, in turn 1 is going to be very exciting, and turn 2, as they're quite kind of sharp turns, long and sharp at the same time, which is
They're very long corners, yeah.
So it will definitely be interesting.
And in terms of lines, I think we're expecting the lines to be a lot longer and later apexes, right? Especially through this hairpin, right? Because you have such a wide track and a long straight after. You just turn in a fraction of a second later, just so you can get that exit, because it really is slow and fast down around this track. If you get a good exit, it is worth tense, because, like, for example, TSA, since that happened, he has not touched the brakes. He's getting barely touched them now.
I was going to say, he's also up on his lap. He's on for a provisional pole position. He comes up the line now. Is he going to get an even quicker lap time to put it in front of Kevin? He's done it, and he has 122, 120.3. Sorry, not 120.2, 120.3. Keep an eye on Toro. Toro still hasn't crossed the line yet. Martin, we can go on to him. Keep an eye, and also the rest of the drivers, Ruben, and look at that, Timo in 5th. And here comes Toro now on the back of the Mercedes. Mercedes losing it, and literally gets the last Toro. Toro is up on his lap time. We're looking for a provisional pole position from here now. It comes out the last corner. Well, to the floor. Here he comes now.
It's gonna be close.
It might be close. Here he comes, and it's only enough to go second. And look at that, Kevin drops back further, and that's basically everyone across the line. So the Haas puts it on pole position. That is crazy.
Look at Ruben. He was briefly P2, and then by what's that, 16 thousandths gets replaced by his teammate. Then Kevin down to P4. So that is no points for Kevin in qualifying. It's 2 for Toto, 1 for Ruben, and for the first time. Look at that, there's only a 10th between the two Van Dykes, between the two Red Bulls. That's probably been the closest it's been all season then. So Timo, if he can just stay there in P5 and start doing that consistently, he'll start really helping out the team there in the Constructors fight. But Tias, what a qualifying session, and I want to say it's his first race, first quali session, whatever you say, first pole position as well. Behind him, Toro by almost 2 tenths then. Toro, Ruben just behind him then. Then it's the two Red Bulls of Kevin and Timo, P4, P5. Then you have Neil, P6, Remus in P7, Bradley and Stoned Hunter down in P8, P9. And running out the top 10, you have Eden Jones. And you can take the rest, Will.
11th goes to Don't Play 0, 12th fastest, 13th Nico Son. A bit of a shock there. He's not really had a very good qualifying at all. Let's have a look. There are the others.
Did you see that?
What happened?
Toro has left the session.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did notice that, and I thought that was a bit interesting. But is that something? Are you for the race start, or what do you see? Do you fancy doing the race start, or?
Yeah, sure, I'll take it. What's your prediction then? I want to say one safety car, and the top 3 is going to be Tias, Kevin, and because of that disconnect, I'm going to say Tias, Ruben, Kevin.
I'm probably going to say Ruben, Kevin, and Toro. I know it's a bit boring, but I just feel like Tias, as their kind of new driver, he hasn't had the experience with these 3. We know these 3 do have good qualifying times, but if Tias can get a good start and just hold them off, then that's all that matters, isn't it, really? So it's interesting what he can do off the line, but he does have not professional, everyone on the grid is professional, but, they're more experienced who've raced in this, obviously, this championship so far. Yeah, so it will be interesting. But if he can just hold them off for the first turn, really, I think he could pull away.
Well, we're about to get on the grid then for the Qatar Grand Prix in Season 8 VDRL. It's going to be Tias, and alongside him, the AI of Toro. So you got to look behind you to the Red Bull and the Alpine of Ruben and Kevin then. 5 lights are on, and it's lights out. And away we go for the Qatar Grand Prix. What a start by Ruben then. I think he's already alongside Kevin. Then Kevin dropping back then. Look at his teammate getting up alongside him. It's 3 wide for a split second. Going into turn 1 then. These guys need to navigate Toto's AI very quickly then as Kevin gets ahead of, meanwhile, Nilu and Bradley. So this is Timo and Bradley fighting out the 2 Red Bulls on the hard compound of tires. Interesting strategy for them, but then through these 2 right-handers, it is very much a one-line turn. Then Ruben already right behind Tias. Further back then, a car going off wide. That seems like it's the Mercedes, so even more trouble. There's Holsten and man going wide twice then, once through turn 4 and again through turn 5, I believe that is then. But still fighting in the background then as yellow flags are on sector 2. Who spun it? I'm trying to figure out. It is Timo, so we've been praising his qualifying session. P5, now it's a crash back down to reality, down to P20. So really embracing that Van Dijk surname.
So that's the Red Bulls dropping further down the order and further down the constructors now as Timo drops to the back. But Ruben right onto the back of Tiaz. Tiaz is defending him like hell. Tiaz wants this win for his reserve race. Look at that, Ruben all over the back of me, looking for a move down the inside. It's not enough. Ruben's just going to play the waiting game. Meanwhile, Kevin is chasing. He's chasing and chasing. And where did Coro go? Coro 18th. Torrance had a bit of a shocker there. Here comes Ruben. He's looking down the inside. He's on the back of the hash. Has he got enough to dive down the inside? No, he's not. He's just going to wait. Nilu under pressure from Kevin, and we've seen that quite a bit, haven't we? But look at that. Diaz is really holding off Ruben, and Ruben wants that victory. He wants to stay ahead in the championship. Timo goes up to 15. He's had a really good comeback there. And it's unbelievable, really. And Diaz really, with that start, he's really wanted, and he's really done well to stay ahead.
I'll tell you what, I think Kevin let Nilu by on purpose on the main strike, because Nilu is on the medium, so Kevin is hoping Nilu can just grab onto the DRS of the top 2, which he is just about on right now. It's 9.5 tenths and it's swaying about. Right now it's almost a second, so Kevin is relying that Nilu gets within that 1 second, because even if you don't have DRS, it's so hard to get in it, because you're running such high wings, right? It is pretty much impossible to get in, even though there's only 1 DRS driver. Ruben then still hustling and harrying the back of the house, really analysing the suspension and the rear wing. Then can he get past going into turn 1? He will have DRS now as these 2 fighting away, and I think Nilu has got DRS, but Kevin has not got DRS, so the hard's not gripping up how they'd like to, so it's going to be a painful first stint for the 2 Red Bulls. And I'm looking further behind. Froby has split, Nicholson star on the hards, and through goes the Alpine of Ruben, and Nilu has caught up to the front too. So this has just turned into a fight for P1 with 3 cars. No, it's not your usual 3 cars. It is Ruben, Tiaz, and Nilu, not with Toto and Kevin. I'm not sure if Toto managed to get back in the lobby then. Not sure if it's still his AI driving for him. But so far, Ruben and Tiaz swapping at the front.
Yeah, this is not good, and Toro is still in his AI, so Toro's had some issues there. That is not what he wants in the pack, but let's talk about the Williams. Williams are doing amazingly. Look at that P5 and P6. Not with Dincho, though. Dincho is not in for this round, I don't believe. But here comes Bradley right onto the back of Kevin. We don't say this much, but look at that. Bradley is really eager to get up above this Red Bull. This Red Bull's not having a good race, locking up the front there, and he's kind of under pressure. Those hard tyres are not working on how they should be. Look at that, Bradley all over the back of him. He's catching, he's waiting for that DRS opportunity to come. And I know, because Kevin won't have it, but Bradley have. Is Eden got enough to follow him behind? I don't think so. There's a gap, actually. And Eden's under pressure from both the Aston Martins. Here we come now, up to DRS. And here comes Tiaz. Tiaz wants that lead once again. He's got the DRS. He's going to open it now. But Ruben's got quite a good gap in front. Ruben 1:23.6, quickest lap. But here comes Tiaz down the inside, and he's taken the lead of the race. Nilu just watching in behind. Let's keep an eye. Bradley has done it. Bradley has passed Kevin. Kevin dropping slowly down the order, and that is not what the Red Bull wants. And look at that, Remus and Don't Play Zero really joining in that fight with Eden. And really, they're able to catch up with Kevin, because Kevin obviously dropping slower and slower with those hard compound tyres, and the others on the medium. So obviously Kevin might be playing the long game, and it could work out well, but he's really just got to knuckle down.
Wow. Mezzo, why did the Red Bulls choose the hards? We know how important it is to stay within DRS in the first stint then. Why they choose the hards? It's such a tricky tire to get going and to grip up. Why they choose it? I understand we're trying to have the better tires later on, but is that really the smartest decision?
Well, Qatar isn't really a circuit usually 680 cars on, so that threat is kind of thrown away, although it's not completely alien to the drivers. And, well, Kevin especially, we know that he's a good driver who can perform pretty well and have a good pace. But all he needs to do is stay behind one of these guys who isn't as good as he is, and just, they're on the mediums, and they'll just essentially pull him along with the DRS, because the DRS is a massive advantage. I've seen guys gain half a second and just make overtakes from quite far behind, because it's a high downforce circuit and therefore the DRS works. It is a lot more effective.
DRS is very efficient, yeah.
That's why.
We might get an example here, you know.
Yeah.
Of Remus on Eden.
You get what I mean, though, and that's essentially what I'm saying. So he doesn't mind that he's now in the worst tyres, because he's behind a guy who's on better tyres, but is a slightly worse driver. Therefore, he can keep up with him. And he'll wait for the crossover point where the hards become better than the mediums, and then he'll start to storm forward. He does have a bit of a gap ahead of Bradley to the guys like Nilu, but to be 3 point, how far is he? He is 5 seconds off the lead after 5 laps. When you're on a one step harder tyres around a track that's as tyre dependent and as mechanical grip dependent as Qatar, it's a very impressive job.
Yeah, definitely, and it's really exciting now. As Tiaz still on the hunt after Ruben, and you know he's eager to get by, and he still hasn't done it. But obviously Nilu and Bradley there. Bradley's still under pressure from Kevin, but we also saw fights further back with Eden, Remus, and Don't Play Zero. Remus looked for moves down the inside, but just pulled out, and Don't Play Zero kind of took that opportunity just to get closer and closer. But you know they don't want to take each other out, the Aston Martins, because obviously that would not go well on the constructors, neither for the drivers as well. But yeah, look at that. Tiaz still, and we've got our first three. Oh no, we already had one before with Vasta and Hockey in there. But look at that. Here's on the inside. That is Tiaz. Sorry, Tiaz takes the lead of the race, and Ruben onto the back of him. And here comes Nilu. Nilu's joining in as well. Tiaz was happy with taking that. Nilu getting the better X off the corner, still squirming that rear, but somehow it was good enough to catch up to Ruben. Ruben's now under a bit of pressure, not having his teammate there, joining up at the front. And Toro still succeeds, and I believe he's still disconnected somehow, and it's not gone well for him whatsoever. But Bradley and Kevin, I think, are still joining up. But this is interesting. We've got a completely new top three. Well, not completely new. We've had a few up there, but Tiaz in the lead of the race. That is something else, and we're coming up soon to the DRS. We've only got a few corners left. Is it going to be enough for Tiaz to keep the lead? Well, I don't know, because Nilu is joining in this fight as well. It's obviously a three-way fight for the lead. They literally just flashed out through here, and they've just got a few more turns to do. But the DRS, I believe there's only one DRS straight here anyway, so it's kind of crucial you get that there. And look at that, Ruben is actually catching Tiaz really, really quickly there through all these corners, and Nilu's somehow dropping back, but still getting the DRS that he needs. Here he comes now into the last corner. It's going to be the DRS train now. So is Tiaz going to hold off one, or is he going to hold off two? That's going to be interesting. Don't play 0 3-second time penalty from the Aston Martin. Here comes the DRS. Nilu's not further enough back, but Ruben is. He goes down the inside and retakes the lead of the race on lap 7. And let's keep an eye on Nilu. Nilu's still not close enough, and I think he's just losing it out in the second sector.
There has not been a race where we have not had action up the front, even though these are pretty much DRS overtakes. You don't know, Nilu could undercut the two, Nilu could just slip through, Tiaz could undercut, Ruben can just control the race. What is going on in this season? I want more of it. Give me more. I've said it before, it's like a drug, this racing. Give me more. I may be addicted, but I promise I can stop at any time. And Kevin then has managed to solidify P4 behind. Can Tiaz slip his way back? And Will, you've been saying you want an outsider to win the race. Well, tell you what, I think we're viewing the onboard of a potential candidate to that right now. Tiaz Korsman, that would be that. Can he win it? I mean, it's early days. Lap 7 out of 29. Pit stops, I would be, I want to say around lap 13, 14 for the medium runners. Maybe about 5-6 laps later for the hard runners, for the hard tire runners then. As these guys are probably just going to swap then. And tell you what, I'm all for it, because it just builds up the tension until lap 28, lap 29. That's when it's going to absolutely, all of the top three, they're going to absolutely go for it. You can see they're biding their time, they're playing the long game, and it's just having us and the people at home on the edge of their seats. And to the people at home watching the stream, feel free to ask some questions. I see Guido, Ultima, and Squirter once again in the chat. Ask us some questions, put in your predictions for not only the race, but also the entire season feel free to do that. And make sure to like the stream as we have yellow flags for Mercedes. I tell you what, this Mercedes downfall, it's worse than the IRL downfall, isn't it?
It's definitely worse. And look at that. Tiaz was looking for the move down the inside, but it wasn't enough to get Ruben. What I was saying, yeah, it wasn't enough to get Ruben. But talking about Kevin has actually got ahead of Bradley in the Williams, as I've just noticed. But look at that. Ruben is squirming all over the track. Tiaz gets even closer, but it's not enough to make the move. He knows he should wait for the DRS, but he's eager just to get by. He's eager to make the big gap, the one that doesn't allow Ruben. Oh, well, God, there's glitching there. And Tiaz still isn't ahead. Nilu still joining the fight. Nilu all over the back of Tiaz this time, and it's getting tense with these three. I mean, I'll have to say I'll join in this struggle as well, because it's unbelievable the racing action we've had, and really these guys have never failed to disappoint us. And there's a stopped.
There's another. It's the same Mercedes. Oh,
Mercedes.
okay.
And I believe this is the one that took out. Oh, no, this isn't the one who took out.
Well, that would be Campbell. And Campbell and Toro still in AI mode.
They're both in AI. But look at that, Nilu all over the back of Tiaz. He's looking for a down the inside. That's going to unsettle the car a bit, but it's not going to be too much. But look at that, skirming the rear there. And here he comes now down the back straight through the finish straight, I mean. And here he comes. And Hogan then leads the session, but here comes Tiaz. It's going to be two going through to the lead. Here comes Nilu down the inside. Tiaz holds the outside line. Here comes Ruben covering. It's going to be three wide. Oh, he touches him there, but Tiaz stays ahead of that group. Nilu slots into second, but Ruben is not liking this. Ruben's going to go around the outside this time. It's a right-hand corner next. So side by side, Nilu holds the inside, squirming a bit there with Ruben, and Nilu still holds that position in second, but Ruben is all over the back of him. Meanwhile, Tiaz is running away slowly with this, and Nilu snaps the rear. That's going to slow him down, because here comes Ruben looking through down the inside. He's not, and he just waits behind, but Tiaz has got that gap he wants, and he's cheering in the car. You can already see, and Nilu is holding off Ruben, and Ruben is not going to be happy, is he?
Well, we've seen these two come together in Zandvoort just 7 days ago, and now racing it again. This is what Nilu does. He sits behind, he waits for the mistake, he waits until he's got the overspeed, and then he pounces, and boy did he pounce down the inside at a corner where you don't really overtake, well, it must be said. Usually it's turn one, maybe the final corner. But in sector 1, no counting turn 1, that is very impressive from Nilu then. Currently sitting in P2. Does he have DRS though? Gap's currently out just over a second. I don't think he does. I think he... it's very hard to tell. Can we look behind Nilu? He has got DRS, but he's just got no ERS. So he used all of it to get into second, just to lose it. About 5 kilometers later than Tiaz, we see him also starting to struggle with the tires. I wonder if these top three are starting to feel the tires. If they would be, Kevin should start to close up. But the problem is he's got no one to DRS swap with.
Yeah, it's getting tense, and Ruben got a better line off the corner, but Tiaz was just holding him off, I think. Timo in 10th after that spin. He's done an awesome comeback. But look at this. Ruben and Tiaz are back once again. They're fighting, ladies and gentlemen, and it's getting interesting again. The tyres are going off. You can tell Tiaz's tyres are absolutely gone. So Ruben's he's still not taking the apex into the corner, is he? So Nilu, I think, has dropped back quite a bit now. Kevin, I don't think, is even caught up. It's a 4-second gap. He's not even in the podium, and this is not good for Red Bull at all. But with Timo catching up, it is looking stronger. Toro drops himself down to 18th. That's not even good at all with the constructors. But Ruben sets after Tiaz, and Tiaz is just holding him off. And I can't believe this is making my day, that a new contender is fighting up in the front. And I do wish that he's completed all the races, because he's one hell of a driver. But look at that, Ruben is all over the back of him. He's got the better exit off the corner. He comes into the last corner. It's all eyes on Tiaz if he can hold him off. All eyes on Nilu. Nilu is in behind. You can see him literally sniffing Ruben's rear there. But here comes Tiaz, he holds the inside line, and it's not going to be enough, because here he comes, Ruben looking for a move down the inside. Is Nilu going to move as well? No, he's not. He's still too far back, so we're not expecting another one from them. And Tiaz cuts in to the apex, but doesn't catch Ruben up enough. So he's just going to stick on the back of him, give him a bit more pressure. And then Nedzo, can we expect to see the front runners pitting soon?
I'm not exactly sure. I don't think you'd want to go into hards at this point. It's way too early, and also their DRS training, so they will be able to keep ahead of guys like Kevin. Before Kevin just got re-overtaken by Bradley Bellamy, though I was going to make an interesting point, because he was slowly inching up to the back of the guys in front, but now obviously he's got a medium runner in front of him. I think he's going to be hampered. So I think that the hards are slightly quicker at this point in the race, and therefore the front runners might be scared of the potential crossover from the tyre performance. But at this point, there's no threat because they all on DRS. They've got DRS on each other. They've got plenty of track room. It'll just be where they feed out in this train because I'm guessing that if they were to make a pit stop now, I'm not sure what the pit stop loss is around here, but I'd expect them to come out behind loose check and ahead of the 007, which is outside the top 10. What you don't want to do is then catch up to the massive queue of cars that's led by Don't Play Zero. Or it's not even a massive queue of cars. Oh, actually, saying that, one of them's just gone in. That's Ruben Huertas gone into the pits.
So Ruben's gone now, and is he going to be going to the hard compound tyres? I believe he probably will. This is going to allow Kevin to drop the order into third now, and Nilu down the inside overtakes Tiaz. Tiaz is not going to be happy about that because he wants to lead. He wants to get the good enough outcome, and look at that, Kevin and Eden. Kevin and Eden both side by side. What's happened to Kevin? And Kevin just dropped. Yeah, something happened there, and he dropped back further. Remus joining in the fight now, but Eden just stays ahead with those advantage of the medium tyres. But obviously we know Kevin is going to stay a bit later. Tiaz really snapping those rears, and seeing Ruben come in, we can surely expect to see Tiaz and Nilu join in as well.
Yeah, surely to cover the undercut. I know the DRS is very powerful, but what you gain on the main straight, you lose through this little section. We've seen for a while now. 4 laps ago, we saw Nilu starting to struggle with the tires as well as Tiaz then. As we have yellow flags are out, safeguard could be detrimental to Ruben's race. Then the yellow flags are for, is it someone in the pit lane? I think it is for someone in the pit lane. So safeguard chances are 0, so yeah, we won't be getting a safety car, but I'm imagining the top 2 to go to the pits. And you see, I've noticed Nilu, he's been a lot in like 100% battery, 90% battery. I've noticed his ERS manager is just flicking between medium and overtake, which is something as Nilu pits and Tias stays out. So Tias still feeling comfortable with the tires as well as the Eden Jones. Back to the ERS manager of Nilu. Medium overtake, just swapping between the two, something I used to do a lot until not too long ago. I flipped to like using hot lap more and just using overtake in shorter bursts. Then I prefer that a lot then. And if you're going to be sitting at 100% ERS, this is something that me and Ned have talked about ever since we've started commentating. If you're sitting at 100% ERS, you're not gaining it and you're not using ERS. You gotta choose. You gotta start using it if you're sitting at 100%. Go into hot lap, just use a bit to make sure you're, instead of 5 tenths away, 4 tenths away, so you can pick up on any snap of oversteer that the car ahead can have.
Yeah, that's the part, and obviously I don't get why people don't use it, but it does make sense for DRS kind of reserve it, but you might as well use a bit and use a rest on it.
Ruben with his undercut is 2 seconds ahead of Nilu.
That is interesting, because he obviously got the best out lap he could have got, and he's on the back of Nico-san. Nico-san, a popular name, but hasn't pitted yet, so he's going to be dropping down further. But he still hasn't pitted yet, and he's really.
It's going to be this swap.
It would make sense if it's this lap. Yeah, Nedzo, is he down in the pit lane now?
He has just come in, yes. So I have a feeling he's going to get undercut. But the only thing he could be thinking with his long strategy, either he's just cocks it up and he's not actually planned to get undercut by everyone, or he's planning on coming back later on in the race. But I doubt it. It will be 1 lap, 2 lap fresher hards. That's not going to make the difference. So I have a feeling that Tiaz might have thrown this race with his inexperience, but I might be wrong.
Yeah, and we've just seen that with Ruben overtaking Tiaz's teammate there, and Kevin is in the lead once again. But look at that, Tiaz. Sorry, that's not Tiaz, is it? That's Lucas onto the back of his teammate, and Lucas. Sorry, not on the back of his team. He's on the back of Ruben, and Lucas is going to try and catch up, but it's not going to be enough, is it? And Nilu is on the back of Tiaz this time. So Nilu, Tiaz. Tiaz stays ahead.
Say Tiaz 3 times fast.
Tiaz, there we go. Tiaz stays ahead this time, ahead of Nilu, and he locks the front.
Oh, looks up. That's, you see, the hards, we saw this with Kevin. They take 3 or 4 laps to grip up. At least, sure, they might be up in temperature, but just to get them properly going takes a bit of time. You can see even Nilu, who's this is his 2nd lap on him, is struggling as well. And I would imagine we see some Haas team orders here coming up if Lucek doesn't pit that. But I think Ruben's hearts, they're ready to go. He's all for it, and he's loving that little almost 3 second gap he has to these two in P6 and P7. And lap 15 out of 29, we've just crossed the halfway point of the halfway point of the season. So we're pretty much right now halfway done with the season, Will.
That is interesting, and I can't wait for actually crowning the champion. That's going to be interesting. But Nilu now is on the back of Tiaz, and he's going to look down the inside. It's going to be a swap this time. The DRS train worked once again, and Nilu's going to be ahead, cuts in front there. But is that going to slow up Tiaz? I don't think so. Remember, Kevin, Nico, and Timo. I think I have Timo in third. That's something else. I was just pointing that out. Timo, I think he's hit, hasn't he? Timo's bit? Or was he starting hard?
No, he hasn't. He started on the halves. And I reckon if he's going to try and do Kevin a solid here by holding up the likes of Ruben and Nilu and Tiaz eventually. Of course, his tires are very much second hand now. I mean, he's been on them for a while, even for hours. But what he's just, the distance that he's just gone with the tires, that's the distance that Ruben, Nilu, Tiaz, everyone who started on mediums, they need to go that distance and a bit more. Of course, they have less fuel, but therefore they gotta just go 1 or 2 laps extra. And we know that front left is absolutely killer. These 3 corners right here, well, I like to call it the Tire Shredder 3000 because they do just that.
Yeah, you can see the rumble strip. You can even hear it on the car, can't you? They're properly shredding the tyres. And that is the part that all the others had to stay off, actually, just before they pitted. Obviously, otherwise it would have ruined. But looks like Nilu's got quite a comfortable gap so far, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think, for Tiaz with the DRS train now coming through. Nilu swipes down to the inside, and isn't going to be enough. It's still going to be side by side, but looks like Tiaz stays ahead, and Nilu slots in behind, and that DRS train working once again. But with Ruben still 2 seconds up the road, he's still feeling confident, isn't he? It's incredible.
Wow. Well, we see here Tiaz. Is he lapping? I think he's lapping Toro. Or that's the Mercedes. That is Toro. Wow. So Toro, once he gets going, of course, Baku, he crashed in the castle section. Now he struggles a bit. Between Baku and now he was doing very well. And now this, I mean, he can't afford. Sure, this isn't his fault, right? I'm assuming he just can't take control of his car, right? With that glitch then. But he can't afford more mistakes like this because right now, we'll say Ruben is essentially in the net lead. Ruben will be gaining 25 points on him. 24 because of that point that you get for qualifying. At 24 points, he's already quite a bit. He's already, I think, 8 points behind him. So, I mean, this championship hope, the championship charge by Toro, has once again failed, or right now is failing, against his teammate. And, at the start of the season, I was talking about it being a bit of a Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg situation where, third time might be the charm, but don't think it's this time.
And here comes Bradley, past his teammate Eden. It's down the inside, but they're still fighting. The other Williams is not going to try and fit it, but he tries to get the undercut. But Eden hasn't got enough to get Bradley there. Bradley has obviously gone up a position. Eden's struggling with grip a bit more, but Timo in third at the moment, onto the back of Nico somewhere, I believe. And they've been going for a while, but Neto, their tyres can't have much life on them, surely.
Probably not. I'd agree that they need to come in soon, but then again they might be holding out for a safety car, or they might be trying to go to softs, which I very much doubt. But they're just hoping for something, I assume. And now Timo's starting to get the leaders to come onto the back of him, so that will start to be interesting. If he can hold them up in that middle sector, especially, he could make them lose a second and a half if he plays his cards right. Obviously, they'll then get by with DRS on the next straight, but. If I was him, I'd start getting really crafty. I mean, really crafty. Sit in the middle of a circuit through the fast corners, brake when you should be going flat out, and really intimidate them, essentially, because that could help you win this race, as now Nicholson's in.
Yeah, so that's interesting. And Ruben is got up another position, and there we go, the first pits there. Red Bull 1-2, this is what they want, but obviously with a pit stop, they will be dropping down the order. But Timo is only, well, not only, he is 11 seconds up the road, which is something else as well. Considering Kevin has not had the race he wants so far, but with a quicker Ruben, and Nilu and Tiaz still fighting actually with that DRS train, and it looks like Nilu just stayed ahead. The gap still isn't really decreasing between Nilu and Ruben. It's still 2.2 5, isn't it? But Ruben is on the back of Timo now with 6/10 now. So it's getting tense, and I think Ruben's done it, but look at that snap from the rear from Timo. It's not going to work well, and Ruben's going to be all over the back of him. Those tyres are completely dead. You can easily tell they're dead. And here he comes, look, still snapping those rears. I can expect him pitting any minute now, because those tyres are killing him. And Ruben will know that he's going to pit soon. But he won't try and make a move unless it's really, really crucial. He's not going to do anything silly, because he knows he can get affected badly. But here he comes now, onto the back of him, coming up to the last corner now, and I can expect to see Timo now coming into the pit lane. If he doesn't, that'll be a very silly move, as we've just seen on the things. There we go, and he dives into the pit lane now, and goes up position, and I wonder where Timo's actually going to come out of, but here comes a fight once again, and Tiaz goes ahead of Nilu, and it's just going to be like that for the rest of the race, isn't it, Yellow?
Tell you what, it might be their best chance of winning that race. Just DRS swap, get up to Ruben. But I gotta tell you, I'm surprised that hard tire runners pit this late, because, I mean, the medium tires in the first stint did, what, 14 laps, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, and that's on high fuel, right? So 14 laps would be, if you pit on lap 15 then, of course, let's say you count in 1 lap extra, so pit lap 16. You've got less fuel, the tires last longer, so I'm surprised they go this long, which my only theory is they're holding out for a safety car. But the more they do that, the more they lose time. I think in the last lap and a half or so, Kevin's lost a second to Ruben. He needs to pull the trigger sometime. And even if there's a safety car 2 laps after he pits, his tires are pretty much going to be fresh. He needs to pit, and I think he left a bit too late. 2 or 3 laps ago would have been perfect. His mediums would have been fine until maybe lap 27. He would have started to struggle then. But these guys on hards, they would also struggle. As speak of the devil, Kevin into the pit lane, but I think he just stretched it a bit too long.
Yeah, I think he did, and that's what's kind of thrown it, and that's where you kind of see experience versus less experience. But Ruben, there we go. And Tiaz, though, sorry, Tiaz 1:22.9 with the fastest lap of the race. So he's quick, isn't he, Tiaz? And he's on the hunt, and the gap has actually gone down. It was at 2.5, now it's 1.7. Either something's happened with Ruben, or I don't know. It's not looking good, and the gap's just going on more and more and more slowly. But
Kevin Soft.
Oh.
He's going all in. He's going all in. And we have got some information to what happened from Torred. You know, this might be even more out of his hands than what we were expecting. His electricity went.
That actually sucks, and he could have been so far up. And you know,
can this guy catch a break?
It's horrible, isn't it? And it's all the bad luck charms that are kind of hitting in. But Timo coming up, onto Don't Play Zero in the Aston Martin, holding him off. He's got a penalty, but look at that, Timo's all over him. He's looking there. Don't Play Zero covers the inside line. Here comes Timo around the outside. Is it going to work? And yes, it is somehow. And he gets ahead. The Red Bull gets ahead of the Aston Martin, and you could just tell with those faster, fresher tyres, he was just going to dominate that one. And he's on the hunt now for Nico's son. But Nico's son is only 2 seconds up the road from him, so a bit of catching, but I'm sure he can do it. Tiaz and Ruben, I believe, are getting even closer. That gap is getting ever so closer. I remember 1.8 to 1.5 now. So I don't know, Tiaz's tyres, either Ruben's tyres are going off, or Tiaz is getting closer. But Kevin on the back of Bradley. Could it be a double overtake of the Williams?
Magic.
DRS, there we go. That's one car. Is he going to go for both? Yes, he is. And that's 2 Williams he's just got past into P4 once again. And look at that side by side with the Williams. Here's on the outside. To be Eden. And who's that? Yeah,
Bradley.
sorry. Eden close ahead. And Bradley down the inside. Is it going to be enough? I don't know, but here he comes now. And Eden stays ahead.
Wow, well, the Williams, they're doing amazing in P5 and P6, and Eden being ahead, he does have a penalty, so he wants to make sure he has that gap to, well, it would be Dickerson. He's going to lose P5 either way. Let's take a quick look at penalties then. So you have 3 seconds for Eden, Ramos, Werder, Brandenberg, and Vastas, and you have 6 seconds for Don't Play Zero, and 9 seconds for the 007 then. So I gotta tell you, well, a whole lot less than I was expecting. So these guys, they saw how much they were invalidating in qualifying, and they decide, let's just kick it down a notch then. As Hoga proved, okay, I just jinxed the shit out of that.
Yeah, you did.
Never mind, I was going to say Tiaz, he's 1.1 seconds away from Ruben then. one big push lap and he is in DRS. He just needs to get within it so he can then start charging ERS. Lap 22 out of 29. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because this race is only getting more and more intense then between the top three. Because if Tias gets within DRS, Nilu is right back with him as Kevin now goes fastest. Can he catch up to these guys? Almost 10 seconds. It's going to be near impossible despite the tyre advantage.
It's interesting now, isn't it? And Nilu is just trying to join in that fight game. Remember, they were the top three before, and you can see the Alpine is in sight of both those cars. And obviously, those tyres for him aren't working well if he's had an issue. But Tiaz is still catching. He's catching throughout the second and third sector. But it's going to be soon before we get our DRS train again. And my God, I can't wait for that one. That's going to come up towards the end of the race. I already know it. And there's already traffic in front as well. Who is this? I believe it's the Ferrari of Frana or Avasta. As he goes deep and lets them by, Nilu slots ahead. But it's going to be interesting. And he's in. Tiaz is in the DRS range, and so is Nilu. Nilu's joined in, but only enough for Tiaz, not for Ruben. So Ruben now knows he's under a lot of pressure. We're coming up now to the DRS straight. Is it going to be enough for Ruben to stay ahead? Well, here comes Tiaz, right onto the back of him this time, and he's going to get ever so closer, but is it going to be enough to overtake? Ruben's going to use most of his DRS down this back straight. Here comes the DRS now, it's open. The DRS train starts, and Ruben, is he going to get overtaken into turn one? No, I don't think he is, but the gap's gone down to 6/10. But look at that, Tiaz is onto the back of him now, with the Ferrari in the way. The Ferrari gets out of the way, luckily, and now, oh, I'm excited for this one now, Yellow, because they're all together, and Yellow's back sector one, but that was a Ferrari.
Well, they're all together, all three of them. It took a bit of a gap, you know, the pit stops, you know, it separated them. But now the band is back together, and you know, we had the trio of Ruben, Kevin, Toro. It's this trio now. Nilu, he's always been here. I think this will be his second podium ever. But I just want to take a quick look at the Drivers and Constructors Championship, because if I remember then, Racing Bulls are on 73 points. Nilu, hold up, I clicked away from the thing, hold up. Nilu is on 55. Who's his teammate? I'm trying to, who is his teammate?
Oh, Nilu,
he's
got 007 at the moment, but...
it's only been reserves then. So yeah, the Racing Bulls, they're not doing too badly as well, currently in P3 in the Constructors, but all eyes are on this fight for the front three. Kevin is not closing in. He needs a safe car for any sort of luck to close up to these three. That qualifying session, that Mercedes really screwed him.
And here he comes now, it's the DRS train starting. Diaz is looking for a move down the inside ahead of Ruben, but look at that. Here comes Nilu. Nilu's joining in. Here comes the lead for the race. And the Diaz down the inside forces Ruben wide, almost touching there with Nilu. And it's still the same order it was before. And Ruben just stays ahead this time. And Diaz and Nilu are both on the back of him. Nilu got a better exit. Here he comes now down the inside for the dive. He's not going to look for it. He knows he's got the DRS train coming up, and he's not going to waste all that opportunity. Look at his DRS, and Nedzo and both of you guys have been saying about that DRS. It's gone to 100, and he's really not using it, is he? But he will use it down the back straight. Tiaz onto the back of Ruben. Ruben's under so much pressure now after dropping, well, obviously a lot of time from Tiaz. We thought Tiaz threw us away, but really he hadn't. He's right onto the back of Ruben, and it's really keeping this race entertained. Here comes Nilu down the inside. Tiaz goes a bit wide that time, but it's not enough, and Nilu just slots in behind once again. He's really eager to get ahead, isn't he, LA? And LA going to be through it. So back again, Nilu and Diaz, they're both fighting, but Diaz has got the DRS opportunity coming up any minute now, and it's getting interesting because Ruben is going to really hold them off both, but a hungry Nilu joining in this fight. Kevin is sad to say probably out of this fight with a 9-second gap, but here he comes now. DRS, Nilu down the inside, but here comes Diaz. Diaz is going to do it as well, and it's going to be two overtakes there, and Ruben drops down. Neto, that was not good at all, was it?
Good now. Yeah, it seems that Ruben is starting to struggle when he's got these guys around him, and well, he could be biding his time, but I wouldn't want to be in third. The place I want to be in right now is second, because it means you have the opportunity to make that move for first whenever you want it, and whether that be on the you want to do it going on to the last lap realistically, because you won't get re-overtaken. But Ruben is not in the right position. He needs to claw something, but he needs to at least get past Nilu, which he can do. but he's going to have to work hard for it. He has the most DRS of these, the most ERS of these lot. He has 93, which he can dump and get past Nilu, but it's going to be risky. He's going to have to hope that Nilu complies with his racecraft.
Yeah, it's interesting, and now the DRS train is really getting settled. Piaz has already got a 4/10 gap, but remember Nilu's got quite a bit of DRS, but so has Ruben as well with 84%. So he's got a bit, and he's using it actually around these corners just to catch up. Here he comes now, looking for the DRS train starting once again. Is Nilu going to now take the lead of the race, or has Piaz got enough to hold it off? And Nilu actually seems to be getting the better exit of the corner. But here comes Ruben joining in the fight as well. Is he going to be enough to take the lead as well? Look at that now, Nilu slots ahead now, side by side. It doesn't look like Nilu's done enough, but Nilu down the inside, and here comes Ruben. He's looking, snaps the tyres there, but it's not enough, and Tiaz stays ahead, uses all of his DRS, I believe, and now he's just got to recharge with Nilu on behind.
Well, you can see Ruben, he's starting to struggle with the tires a bit, so this is what we were mentioning. Of course, that tire struggle that Kevin, Timo, all the hard tire runners had 10 laps to go. These guys have the same now. It's come back to bite them, and all of them just charging battery. They're waiting. You see Nilu, I think he was on purpose turning off his battery so he wouldn't overtake. This is what Nedzo was saying. You want to overtake lap 28 onto 29, so you just have that DRS, or just overtake into turn 1 on the final lap, and you've won it. Just make no mistake and make sure you get a good run out of that hairpin there, and you've probably got it down. But it's lap 26 out of 29. We're about to go into lap 27 out of 29. And I must say, well, our predictions have been utter garbage tonight.
Yeah, they definitely have, and it's definitely a big shocker. But look at that, Ruben onto the back of Nilu this time. It's kind of allowing Tiaz to get a better gap, but you can hear Ruben just getting off the throttle and allow Nilu just to get a bit more of a gap. But it doesn't look like Tiaz has got enough gap to stay ahead of Nilu there. But here he comes now, DRS train starts, and Nilu's going to look for a dive down the inside. Tiaz has got enough, and here he comes now. Is it going to be a 3 wide? No, it's not. It's 2. 2 abreast into turn 1. Here comes Ruben. He's going to slot down the inside as well, but it's the left-hander, and Tiaz is going to try and fight back. But Nilu takes the lead of the race this time. He's been wanting to do that for a while, and Ruben is all over the back after recharging his ERS for a bit. And Eden and Bradley are both fighting as well further back. But here comes Ruben. He's all over the back of Tiaz. Either Tiaz has just worn out his tyres somehow from pushing to try and catch up, or he's just really not finding the grip somewhere. But Nilu is. Oh, actually, there we go, with Ruben really lighting up those rears. We're going nearly onto the penultimate lap of the race, and it's getting interesting and really exciting. And for Qatar, Yellow, I'm shocked that we're having this race.
Yeah, you know, usually around tracks like this where there's a lot of dirt here, most people are just managing the tire. But these guys full sending it, and I think Nilu might have pulled a 900 IQ strat here. He overtook going on to lap 27. What he's hoping now is that either Tiaz or Ruben overtake him going on to lap 28. And then going on to lap 29, he re-overtakes them. However, that relies on Tiaz not staying behind. Problem is Tiaz, if he wants to stay behind, he's got Ruben who wants P2. Everybody wants to be in P2 at the end of the straight. So here we go then. Ruben behind Tiaz, Tiaz behind Nilu, Ruben behind the pair of them, Ruben then on the outside, then Nilu needs to, Nilu is trying to let Tiaz by then. No one wants to overtake. If I would be Nilu, I would have gone to the inside there to give Ruben the free line round the outside, but he's got to stay in P1 then, so he just needs to push now to try and get the gap. But look at, there is no gap, Will. I mean, the gap is front wing to rear wing for all three of these then. He needs one good exit, needs Tiaz to struggle, and we see understeer, oversteer, Tiaz pushing before a lockup as well on the front left. Then we have less than 1.5 laps, or pretty much 1.5 laps left to go of this Qatar Grand Prix then. Who's going to win it? It's anyone's game.
It's so interesting now because we're coming up to the last lap of the race, hopefully soon. But you can see into the turn 1. No one really wants to get by, did they? And that's a shocker we've had. But we know because whoever's really in the lead of lap 28 is probably not going to win. And Tiaz now, it's going to get exciting. Now this DRS straight now coming up to it, well, soon actually with a few more corners. It's whoever basically takes the lead of this one may win the race. And in order for that, Tiaz is looking this time, but Nilu's got a good enough gap. This time it's getting exciting because here comes Tiaz, got the better exit. Ruben squirms out the corner, but doesn't affect him too much. Nilu covers the inside line. They're all going three in the line. Here comes Tiaz around the outside, and here comes Ruben looking as well. But Ruben side by side now into turn one. Nilu covering the inside line. It's a left-hand corner for the next corner, and here he comes now. Ruben is trying to dive down. He's done it. Still side by side. Nilu goes. Almost went round. That was Ruben. Almost went round. Nilu stays ahead with a bit of contact, and Tiaz is celebrating in the car. He knows he's got that gap. He's only got a few more sectors to go, but Ruben is going to be after Nilu that time, after that incident, and here he comes now. It's getting exciting because it looks like Tiaz has literally pulled away. He's done it. He's done a second gap already, so he doesn't have to worry about that. The man, it's crazy. The man who's been in pole position here at Qatar has just dominated this race actually. When we thought he'd absolutely thrown it in the qualifying, but he hadn't. Sorry, not in the qualifying, after his pit stop. But he hadn't, and he's coming up now, rounding up the last couple of corners.
Kevin spun, sorry, just to carry the wheel, but there's yellow flag. He has a front left puncture. Kevin has a front left puncture. I'm sorry, Tiaz, but this is huge. Kevin front left puncture. There it is. It's completely delaminated. It was just one lap too much for the softs then. He is struggling so much. Look at that. Ruben 3-second penalty, so that's solidifying Nilu in P2. Tiaz wins it, but Kevin drops down. He's going to be out of the points at this rate then. Where's Dope 0? Dope 0 is 26 seconds behind him. Okay, so he might just pick up P9 then, but 2 points compared to Ruben's massive 15. It's Ruben's wet dream and total electricity problems. Kevin, tire problems then, and for the first time, Timo beats his brother. Oh, Kevin. Wow, just a puncture, and tell what, that's the second league race in a row Kevin's had a puncture.
The man who's had bad luck from Azerbaijan, he's had it in Canada, and now he's back again in Qatar. So really, he's not having the luck he wants. But Tiaz, the man we didn't expect, and a new winner. And I'm very happy to say that Tiaz is the winner here in Qatar, with Nilu finishing second and Ruben third after their little incident into turn two. But Timo with his penalty, with Kevin with his penalty, just stays ahead actually, but drops down. He was in fourth. That's going to drop him so far down the order, and this is not a day for Kevin. Neither were all the other races. He's only had a few good races, but mostly bad luck, isn't it? And even gets overtaken on the end lap. And my God, we can all take a breather, because what a race that was.
Wow, well, it was a bold move to go for the softs then. To be honest, I don't know why he went for the softs. You know, he was 10. He would need to have made up 10 seconds on the leaders, and that's a big ask, especially on the softs. And it is that front left then, which we were talking about throughout the entire race then, and he'll be kicking himself because, you know, Baku was his mistake. Here it was just a strategical error, which shows that Kevin, despite probably being one of the longest drivers, or the driver with the most attendance in VDRL throughout its history, he still makes those mistakes, and we've been saying this for so long now. He needs to cut him out, as Tiaz wins. Nilu in P2, fantastic race from him. Ruben rounds out the podium, then P4, P5, you have Bradley Nicholson all the way up from P13 to P5. Timo P6, Eden Jones P7, Remus P8, Kevin P9, and running at the top 10, you have Lucic and Will. Go ahead and take the rest, will ya?
P11 finishes off with, looking down, Don't Play 0, 12th, Werner, 13th, Ramini, 14th, 007, 15th, Faster, 16th, Frana, 17th, Campbell, 18th, Toro, which is a huge shock after the electricity problems, 19th, went to, I'm just trying to watch from the stream,
I think it was a
Stonehead
DNF. Yeah.
Stonehead, yeah, DNF, and then Hockenham, who left as well in the Mercedes. So that's definitely a weekend for Mercedes to forget once again, and also kind of Red Bull, kind of not, isn't it?
Well, one Red Bull did very well, and it wasn't the Red Bull we were expecting. You know, Timo, he definitely delivered, spitting out lap 1, coming up to be P6. Kevin, though, he just sometimes needs to accept he's not going to be on the podium.
No, 100%. And we move down into the interviews now, so we'll see you guys over there. And what a race we've had. Sadly, as Yale's had to go. So we start with P. Let's go with Tiaz. Tiaz, that was a hell of a race. Can you just talk us through that?
Yeah, well, it was really just a game of DRS, especially in the second stint. I think everyone, the top three, was trying to be P2 all the time. I think I managed it well, especially getting a tire advantage with the 2-lap overcut. That allowed me to manage that better.
And towards the end, was it your tires slowly going as well? Because obviously you could see, obviously all you guys just like I'm trying to speak. Basically like squirming all over the track. Was it towards the end that you were struggling, or were you confident just to pull that gap, that second gap?
Yeah, obviously the wear was getting worse, but I wasn't really struggling, I'd say. At times I was going slower on purpose to make sure only I could overtake. What was his name again? The Alpha Tower.
Oh, Nilu.
Nilu, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So I kind of just had to manage the pace, and pushing all the time wasn't really it. So yeah, it could seem that I was maybe struggling when I was holding off.
Ned's any questions?
I don't believe so.
Okay, so we move on to Ruben. Ruben, that was kind of a race to forget. Were you what happened? Why was the gap dropping? With between you and Tiaz?
I mean, TS is very fast, a lot more than me. I knew that he would catch me. I tried to avoid that moment all I could with DRS. With all DRS, I could catch, but it was impossible. So,
And well, yeah, that was also a bit. And obviously, your teammate Toro. I mean, that's not really a good thing for him with his electricity problems. Obviously, dropping you guys. Well, obviously, you finishing at least third, bringing some points in the construction championship and still keeping them alive. But qualifying went well for you, didn't it?
yeah, better than I expected.
Exactly, and you had a good start, but I think Tiaz just took it into turn one. But were you trying to play the strat? Obviously, everyone was on lap 28. No one was actually trying to overtake at that time because they were all trying to get the DRS with lap 29. Were you eager to get to the front, or were you trying to play that strat as well?
I mean, I wanted to talk about this DRS chicken. I don't know what it's called. The last two laps, who gets the DRS is the winner. I don't like it. I mean, I understand it's the best way to win, but it's not a good way, in my opinion. This is my opinion, of course. This doesn't have to be forced to be cancelled, the chicken game, the DRS game in the last laps. But it should be. I think it should be prohibited for the races. That's my opinion, of course. That kills a bit the emotion of who can win the last lap, forcing the DRS in the first run, of course. But it's a game thing, and I think some leagues thing. So we cannot do. At least I cannot do anything more.
Thank you very much. And Ned, so any questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, I believe that is the stream. Thank you all so much for watching. And next Friday at 6 o'clock, obviously UK time, but European time, it will be different. But we will be in Imola, and that will be an exciting track. But until then, have a good break, and we'll see you next Friday. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night.